Hey everyone, welcome back to the card table where today we're actually gonna do a deck profile on something I somehow haven't covered yet on this channel. That's right, we are talking about OTT witches. These are triggers. Spoilers. These are the triggers, look at them. There they are. But anyways, witches has always been kind of a deck that I've enjoyed as more of a waifu deck because freaking look at Coco, look at this girl. Look at my Solus right here, which she's just freaking adorable. But in premium, it turned out to be a actually funny burn deck that sometimes pops off, and in standard, it's gone to phases. Let's just say it's gone to phases. Beginning of the game, I kind of made it as a fun deck, as a budget way to play OTT, and once again, because the Coco waifu deck, I had to build it, but it turned out to be like one of my better decks in the beginning of the reboots, to the point that I actually took it to the ARG finals last year, and I don't think I made a video on that. I ended up getting 24th, I believe, out of 200. Just missed the top cut. I had a couple of bad rounds, but whatever. Point is, it actually gets there. It's hilarious. Now, I'm bringing it back today because, number one, I haven't showed off yet, and number two, with us kind of going to back into a force meta, I think, besides the whole Narukami and Aqua Force thing, that I feel like it might be able to do something again. So, let's get going with the go-go. Let's get going with the girls. This is my starter. I use the bunny because the correct starter, because trying to get back to the moon. That's pretty much the only reason is I love this art, and my zodiac is rabbit. So that's that. To briefly show off, here are the triggers. Let's go over these real quick. I run a draw trigger. Just one draw trigger. Number one, so I could run a butt ton of crits for no reason. Also some heals. And because Miracle Kid, his flavor text makes so much sense. It says, seems like it's here, the card that decides my fate. This will decide your fate and save you and create a miracle, because he is a little miracle kid. And actually that's the flavor I've gone with, and it works. So yeah, one draw, 11 crits, the heals, that works. You have 11 crits in here, because spoilers, I run the new PGs, won't let you draw a card, but there's also another reason to run those. So actually getting into that, let's go ahead and look at our ride targets. So with our grade 1 units, we have Force Rat Witch Riro, and for Coral Witch Zozo. Zaza, as I just said, is your perfect guard, and she's one of the new ones that says on ride, draw a card, discard a card. Really good for burst draw because I don't know if I explained this on some other things. Effectively, go starter, ride, draw a card off this, draw a card off this, discard a card. So it's effectively a +2 if you go first. Really good. Not effectively the best because you don't have anything you actually want to discard, but it helps you fish out your pieces a lot faster. So for those, also like I said, she does have Witch in her name, which is something we'll talk about in a second. And she also has Witch in her name. So she has two effects, one that goes over the ride chain, which I'll keep on the side for that. And also, when she boosts the attack that hits, you can Crab Blast 1, shove her in your soul to draw a card. So really good, gives all your columns effective on hit pressure draw. And like I said, she has another hidden effect, so just slide her over there. For the next card, our grade 2 red target, and again, I'm just doing targets first, is Topaz Witch PP, who, I was about to say a thing. First of all, she is an 8K, which is hilarious, but she has two effects. Her first is on ride, which goes to the second one. But her other effect is if you have 4 more cards in hand, she's a 10K. She kind of sucks she's the 8K base you're going to be on top of for a very aggressive grade 2 turn, but which does like a little bit of counter blast. And in addition to that, she's a 10K, which means plus your standard booster, she's going to hit 18, hits force numbers. Surprisingly good. Most of the time you want to ride this and then have the rest of the guard power, but if you need to field it, it does hit force numbers. So that's kind of what creates our ride chain, is these two cards, which is not like Tsukiyomi, where it's you have to have this and this and this to do that, but it does have some really cool interaction. So for both these, they have an on-ride grade 3 effect. So when you ride a grade 3 over these two, they both do a thing. For PP, you Soul Blast 1 to draw a card. And for Roro, you Soul Blast 1 to call her out. It's a rear circle. So, let's just say here is our starter with the grade 1, grade 2. You ride either one of the grade 3s. Instantly, boom, draw a card. Boom, call out a free rear guard unit. So together they make a really good combo that lets you just plus tremendously off your first turn ride. Anyway, moving on to those 3s as we talked about. For this deck, it's kind of weird because you don't have an optimal turn 1 ride. They both have a good on-ride effect. But we have 4 Zozo and 4 my girl Coco, who used to be OR. I had to unfortunately get rid of those. Anyways, excuse my coughs. Coco, she has 2 effects. First, when you ride her as your first ride, you get to draw a card. Neat synergy with the other girls. And has another effect that I'll go over in a second. I'll just do it now. I know how to edit these. So, once a turn, you can Soul Blast 1, grade 3, and Counter Blast 1. So you do want to be a second turn ride for this effect. But you could draw 2 cards and discard any number of witches. For each witch you discard, you get a Protect gift. For this reason, you want to definitely more Protect 1 in this deck. Protect 2 is an option if you just want to make giant fields for no reason. Because those +5s will stack and everything, but 9 out of 10 times you just turn your witches into Protect 1 gifts and just have 20 perfect cards in hands. So that's really good. Let's take a second turn effect. I just dropped a Zozo. Oh no. And we have 4 of these. I know I'm only showing 3 because I dropped 1. I'm not going to pick it up. There's 4 Zozo in here. So she has 2 effects as well. First is that her main effect, that when she attacks, you could reveal any number of your lovely Protect gifts in hand. And for each one you do, your front row is going to get +5. This means first turn is just +5 to field, but later in the game you play her, the more gifts you have keep in hand, the bigger your girls are going to get. They get huge, like 50 to 70k columns for no reason, huge. And on top of that, she also has a Vanguard Regard skill that's very similar to the grade 1. And in terms of if her attack hits, you get to Counter Blast 1 draw card. So between these two is basically your on-hit draw engine. So as long as they're somewhere on the field, all of your attacks have that on-hit pressure, which is going to create a lot of guard for no reason. Yeah, it's a much slower deck, I think. I need to find that 4th Zozo. In terms of you need a couple turns to really set up your win condition, this you can ride first, but you really want to ride into her second so you could get off her skill and just explode with perfect guards. And then follow up immediately with this where you just sit on her forever and just say, boom, big numbers, boom, big numbers, boom, big numbers. It is a little slow because of that, but because Axel's started to rotate out, I think it's able to come back and do its thing. Next up, we got our support cards. Support witches, because as you saw, Coco needs witches to discard. So we run 3 shield witches. Which Roro, she's just your standard 7/15. This is really good defensively if you need, because every card you play is precious in this deck. You want to make sure you maximize your number of witches and also maximize your shield so you don't have to waste perfect cards. Because of this, I do like the 15 shield, and she is a witch, so double duty there. We also have 4 Meme. Her name is literally Meme, and she's our scribe of the deck. On place on your guard circle, you can check your top card, put it on top or bottom. Helps you stack triggers and or just filter out cards you don't want to draw, or bait your opponent's very mind game card. And finally, we got Tulala to BB, Laliquish BB, and she is the 12k grade 2 for the deck. I don't like it as much. Like, I like her because she's 12k because that's good. But as you saw for our draw engine as well as Coco, you do like the Counter Blast on this deck. So good against stuff like Axel, but she has a wish her name is good. Come on, defense about right. 12k in this deck. Finally, our last 2 support cards. Remember, 2 this girl who's a promo. Her effect, since she's a promo, you might not have known about her. My fridge goes off. Hi, fridge. is shove her into soul from rear guard, check your top two, one goes to top, one goes to bottom. And then until end of turn, the first time you get a trigger, it's gonna double that trigger's power to plus 20. It's another great mind game card, just like Meme was. But her thing is that she checks 2 and then stacks 1 on top. So even more filtering, even if you hit nothing, you still have that threat of did I stack a trigger? Plus the fact that her hit trigger is a 20k trigger now instead of just a 10k trigger. So because of that, 1 pass becomes a 2 pass instantly. And like I said, mind game's the card. Finally, the tech, we run 2 Orchid Garden Bia, and she has a super simple skill. Rear guard only, of course, and it's unfortunately no gift. But when it attacks, this unit gets plus 2 Cape until end of turn for every card in your hand, including gifts, including the 20 cards you have in your hand because you never fielded anything thanks to Zozo. Oh, she's a big beefy girl. She gets the big and she keeps it big. I don't know what else to say about it. It's a big girl. Like, she's the reason we get 20k, 70k columns for no reason. Is you could field this, give it your plus whatever bonus for your perfect guards, and in addition to that, she also doubles that effectively by having cards in hand. This also helps right now things like your Zozo and BB, Zozo and Virgo, fight the power. These cards that are on hit draw card, because every time one of these that hits, she gets bigger and bigger. Very threatening, very threatening. Like, this whole deck just basically says, I run a bunch of crits, so at any point I could, like, 3 to 6 you. I'm stacking cards and pretending to stack cards with stuff like this. So, like, while you're not doing a full Tsukiyomi, just slowly charge my deck, you're at saying, careful placement of these will basically be saying every turn, who knows if I actually have to trigger top of deck or not. And in addition, this gives you a giant hand that you can dispose of, and this abuses that giant hand that you can dispose of. It's a very straightforward deck, like I said, a little slow, but it gets you there, and as long as you could stall it out, you just win as a protect deck. That's what they do. You go for a long game. Real quick, a couple of other options. This is your other witch grade 3. I don't like her that much. On attack, if you have 10 or less cards in the deck, she gets plus 10, and your opponent can only guard with grade 0s. It's nice to have a little guard distract and make her a plus 10, but Bia does her job better. If you want big attacks, that's fine. You have Zozo and Bia. Your field is huge anyways. And the whole 10 card deck stipulation, I don't like it that much because that means you're very close to decking. It's a very late game card, very situational. Nice finisher, but it's just better options, I think. Boop. Some non-witch support. We have Balsister Tort, who gets plus 10 to crit if you have 10 or more cards in hand. You're going to do that a lot. So she's almost always going to be a minimum 18k double. 26 on normal column, plus all of your big buffs from Zozo. She get big. She's very threatening. If you have room, you run her. In addition, getting big girls, we have what I'm calling the Magus Engine. And both of them say if you get a trigger, they get big. She gets plus 10, she gets plus 5. These two stack. No, they don't. I lied. This one doesn't stack. Don't ignore what I just said. But yeah, they create giant numbers on their own. Let's say right here is a 17 column, plus 1 trigger, plus 10, plus 5. Ignoring giving them trigger power or anything like that, suddenly a 27, 32 column. Very big on its own for absolutely no cost. Again, depends on the room. And finally, a couple cards I was originally running. I have Rectangle Magus and Miko. Rectangle Magus on place lets you cast Soul Blast to stack 2, check 2, draw a card. And in addition to that, she, whenever you drive check a trigger, she gets plus 5, kind of like the other Maguses. You can still run her if you want. I'd say probably over the BB. BB's a witch. That's the only reason I have her in here. But ultimately, I think I took her out because your soul does matter a little bit. Unlike the previous premium bill, which is literally called Soulless Witch, you do sometimes need soul to bring your Zozos in and out of soul. And yes, just sometimes you don't have the cost to pay for it. So It's cute. It gets you there. If you want to run it, go for it. I won't stop you. What I will stop you from is this card. This is the reason I lost one of my matches in the ARG, and I'll forever be salty about it. So, it's skill, when place, check your top 5, add 1 grade 3 from them to top of your deck, shuffle your deck, the rest of those cards, and put them at bottom. And then it gets +2, whatever. Make sure you read this in the right order. I literally lost a match because I miscounted and thought, I forgot what it was, I think like, I assumed that you shuffle the rest of the deck and then put those 5 cards at bottom or something like that. But, case in point, I just put this card in my deck the day before to try and add consistency and add my Cocos back to hand. And sure enough, I go against Kagero, I think like round 4 or 5, I think. And the guy I'm playing against straight up roll calls me on misplaying this. Instant match loss because I was at top table. That probably cost me my chance to get top 16 that day. So it's good, that's consistency. I'm just not touching it. It did a bad thing for me, and I will never forgive her. So anyways, that was a quick update of my Scarlet Witch deck. Give me likes, comments on the video down below, and I can start talking about premium build, how it differs a little bit, and some of the cards I want to see kind of translated into standard from that deck. But like I said, very basic deck. It's a little slow paced because you do want to ride multiple grade 3s, but ultimately you just sit there, say turn 1 I'm going to get a bunch of perfect guards, turn 2 and on, I just sit there with the giant hand. As long as I don't ditch my Protect Gifts and just use normal perfect guards or use my 15k shields or whatever, I could forever just have giant field and never need to play anything. It's a very defensive deck that makes very aggressive numbers. That's all I can say about it. So, like, comment, subscribe as always. Thank you for watching. And hopefully sometime later this week, you guys should be seeing some Chrono Fang, some Angel Feathers, but mostly Gear Chronicles. Gear Chronicles out, Astral Forces out. I cannot wait. Until then, it's me. Sign out for another video from Card Table. As always, he will create a miracle. He is alone. Miracle Kid. He's a draw trigger. Bye-bye.